Here we go, this is the one you've all been waiting for. I've been getting lots of comments on social media, I've been getting lots of comments here on YouTube. Matt, when are the prediction videos coming? Here it is. Now this video is purely based on my observations, my opinions. I'm not doing a deep dive into results, into stats. This is on things I've seen, my observations as a pundit, as a commentator, as an analyst, and also as a fan of darts, just someone who loves enjoying watching the sport. I will be doing a deep dive into stats and things. They will come every single day, either in the form of a video or in the form of a live stream. I'll be live streaming as much as possible throughout the World Matchplay, so hit the subscribe button. They will be coming every single day, deep dives into the stats, the data and the guides, into everything you need to know about the World Matchplay's day worth of play. They will all be for the evening sessions. I won't be covering the afternoon sessions other than at the back end of a following evening session. This is the top half of the draw, and what we're going to be spending our first bit of attention on, the half where the defending champion Luke Humphries gets into action, and some real intriguing draws here. First one, I think James Wade taking on Joe Cullen. I think it's an interesting match. I think James Wade's going to come out on top of that one. He's been playing well, semi-finalist last year. Joe Cullen's been very erratic this year, very hit and miss. I think Wade is a comfortable winner here. Defending champion Luke Humphries gets his campaign under action. Tough draw against Gian Van Veen, although I do think it's a little bit of value here if you're looking for the odds. Luke Humphries around about the 1 to 2 mark to take on Gian Van Veen. I think it's a good price. Good extended format, 1st to 10. Van Veen still gaining experience. I think experience could pay the day here. That could be the same for Danny Noppert, who will take on Luke Humphries in the second round if he gets the victory here. He takes on Cameron Menzies, a player who now has quit his job and gone full-time, which could bring its own individual pressures. We have seen Cameron Menzies struggle at times on the TV stage to control his emotions. This could be a tricky clash for him. I'm not going to make a prediction for every single game in this round because that bottom section there, really tricky. Clayton and Schindler, I think, is very 50-50. Chizzy and De Decker, I think, is very 50-50. I don't think we've got the Mike De Decker in the form that we had when he won the World Grand Prix. But the same can be said for Dave Chisnell, who's not in the best form of his life either. I have got a bit of a surprise going in here, though. I've gone with Luke Woodhouse to beat Gary Anderson. Now, that's purely on the fact that Gary Anderson's TV form over the last couple of years has been horrific. It's been really bad. And he's had a run to the semi-final of the Grand Slam of Darts last year, but other than that, it's been early exits in everything. And he's had a terrible record at the match play since 2020. So I think Luke Woodhouse playing the darts of his life, playing a little bit scar tissue free. Gary Anderson also lost early on the Pro Tours. Yes, he's had a good run on the European Tour to the final since, but I just think there's a bit of vulnerability there. And Luke Woodhouse, we know he's got the game. He's exposed people before. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke Woodhouse wins this, but there's certainly handicap value there. I'll be touching on that when Luke Woodhouse plays his game. And as you can see from these predictions, a lot of mine I'm going with the seeded players. The top players over the 2-year ranking, taking on the top players on the 1-year ranking. I think this year we've got a good solid 16 against the 1-year in-form players. But you can really see that as we sort of delve into the latter end of the top half. Now, because I'm not gone for a player in the bottom half of the draw here, I'm going to have to go with Bunting. I think Bunting gets a better Woodhouse if that is the game there, and then I see Bunting coming through because I'm not sure who's going to come through that section of 4. So you've got to go with a guy that you feel quite happy with. Aspinall is playing well at the moment. He's defending the money from 2 years ago, so he's going to need a bit of a run here. I think he reached the quarter-final stage, taking out James Wade, setting up a clash with the defending champion. Now, this would make an interesting quarter-final for me. Luke Humphries, the defending champion of the trophy. Nathan Aspinall, the defending money. Luke Humphries won't be defending the money, the prize money on this event until next year. Luke Humphries could go back-to-back, though. He's been playing decent without really picking up the big results, but we know he really comes alive on the big stages. Him versus Stephen Bunting in the semi-final, I think would be great. I think it'd be good for Stephen Bunting. The guy is a winning machine right now, Stephen Bunting. So a good run on the TV, I think, will further aid his case for another Premier League campaign. I'm going for semi-finals, Stephen Bunting, Luke Humphries in the top half. When we move to the bottom half of the draw, I do think this side is really stacked. There's some great clashes in here. Luke Littler taking on Ryan Searle is one. Ryan Searle, good friend of mine, and I remember when he first played Luke Littler, he was all gunning for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got that same sort of vibe going into this game. That being said, Luke Littler's never won a game on the World Matchplay stage as of yet. Ryan Searle, recent quarter-finalist, so he could give him a bit of a scare, that's for sure. Gerwyn Price, I mean, we know how much of a fan of Daryl Gurney I am. I've been bigging him up for a while, saying he's going to win something. He has won the World Cup, so he comes into this in good form. But going Price winning that European Tour, having a good year, he could be a big danger. Josh Rock's in this half of the draw, taking on Ross Smith, who doesn't have the greatest TV form, despite being a regular in the top 16 as of late. Josh Rock, though, I think is one to keep an eye on. He is playing exceptional. I think he's one of the best players in the world right now. He could go on a deep run here. Michael van Gerwen takes on Raymond van Barneveld. I was looking towards Barneveld due to the struggles of which Michael van Gerwen is facing at the moment, but I wasn't too keen on listening to him on the Love the Darts podcast recently. He just sounded very negative. It was a bit changing equipment, doesn't really know where he is right now. So you've got to go with MVG when you hear that from the horse's mouth. Damon Heta is due a bit of a run in a big event soon, surely. Start challenging towards the top end of the order of merit, or the rankings ladder. Somewhere I think Peter Wright's going to continue to fall at the moment, currently protected by the rankings and the seedings. And do check out my video at the moment in regards to my belief that the ranking is wrong, and you'll get my full feelings on that one. Jermaine Watermainer, though, playing okay still, not quite the form he had last year, but I think he's going to have enough to get through that one. Good bit of value there as well. Only Rob Cross and Dirk van Duvenbode, tough to decide on. Both players in similar sort of form, making deep runs in those sort of Players' Championship events. Rob Cross in the World Series, so a bit of a 50-50 clash there for me, but quite seed heavy for me here. But that bottom section really stacked. MVG, Rock, Dobie Price, and my predictions here. Now, the other thing to remember in this section of draw with Luke Littler is he's not really been playing much, has he? From what we've seen of him, he played the World Cup. That didn't go great. He did play all right in that pairs competition, but we've not really seen too much of him, have we? How's he going to be going into this event? Is the form right? We know he's not a big practice. We know he's got other commitments. But I don't think that's going to affect him too much. I think he's got a good little draw here. I think he beats Watermainer. I think he beats whoever comes through the Heta, Rob Cross, Dirk van Duvenbode section. So I'm just going to go with Littler to go through. But I'm going to go against a surprise player here in the semi-finals. Josh Rock, someone I think's been playing exceptional this year. Now, at the back end of last year, I was getting concerned. And I spoke about Josh Rock. When he drawn the dart back, he froze, and he started angling the dart in the hand. Maybe the early signs of potential dartitis. But this year, back smooth, straight through. I covered the first Pro Tours for the PDC as a commentator, and when he did, I said straight away, oh, his throw's right. His throw's back. He's got the fluency, he's got the smoothness, it's backwards and forwards. And he started playing really well. He played exceptional in that World Cup of Darts. His confidence has gone through the roof since. He's averaging anywhere between 97 and 104 each individual game, which means he's got a low range and he's reliable. The range is the important thing. That's why we've dismissed Peter Wright. By range, I mean what is the lowest level of performance consistently and the highest level of performance consistently. Peter Wright's anything from an 81 to 100. Unreliable. Josh Rock, 97 to 104. Reliable. 7-point range at the very, very top end. So, Josh Rock is right now primed to go and pick something up. He's destined to go into the top 16, currently outside of it, not really defending anything, so he'll be in the top 16 come the back end of this year, that's for sure. But a few good runs on the TV, and he could start challenging towards the real top end. He's now got World Series invites. I think he's getting prepped for Premier League. And I'll do a prediction video on this soon, an early prediction for the Premier League. I'm telling you now, Josh Rock's going to be in my Premier League prediction for next year. I think he's going in an upwards curve. So who wins the match play? I think it's coming from the bottom half. I think if it is Josh Rock, Luke Littler in the semi-finals, I think the winner of the match play comes from that game. That's my prediction. Littler or Josh Rock to pick up the world match play. And don't forget the thing I said on the Mission Darts podcast, if you listen to that, guys. I said if a Luke doesn't win this, I'm going to go run and do a full Tom Daley into the sea, fully clothed. So I'm kind of hoping I'm wrong with Josh Rock being a bit of a danger. Let me know what you think, guys. Comment section down below, and I'll catch you all next week for your live streams and for your videos where we take a deep dive into the stats and try and find you a little bit of value for the world match play. Catch you next week.